What's going on, everybody? I'd like to welcome you to another one of my Real GP videos. Today on the Real GP per hour, we're going to be checking out the Rune Dragons. Welcome back, guys. So on my last Real GP video, I ended up doing the Adamant Dragons, so I figured it was only right to jump into the Rune Dragons right after that. So I used to do 25 hours for each Real GP video, but I have toned it down to 12 since I'm working on so much other stuff. But without rambling on too much, let's go ahead and jump right into the background information. So the Rune Dragons were released on January 4th, 2018, along with the Dragon Slayer 2 quest. They have a combat level of 380, a hit points level of 330, and their maximum hit is 38. They are pretty strong and they will hit very often, so the right gear setup is very, very key here. Their weaknesses are the usual dragon weaknesses: stab, dragon hunter crossbow, and magic. They have many different attack styles: melee, a slash attack, ranged, magic, dragon fire, and the dragon fire is extra long ranged. It will hit you from a very long way away. Moving on to the combat stats of the Rune Dragons, they have an attack level of 284, strength level of 284, defense level of 276, range level of 246, and a magic level of 196. As for their defensive stats, their stab bonus is plus 30 and their range bonus is plus 95. Now the stab with any dragon is usually the lowest, and it still holds true with the Rune Dragon, so your best in slot weapon here is most likely going to be the AsukaYenOSRS. Getting into the Rune Dragon's drop table, they do have 3 unique drops, the first of which being the Dragon Metal Lump, which is a very rare drop at a rate of 1 in 5,000. The Dragon Metal Lump is used with the Dragon Chain body to create a Dragon Plate body. The next one is the Dragon Limbs, which are used to create the Dragon Crossbow. This is a rare drop at a rate of 1 in 800. And last but not least is the Draconic Visage, which is a very rare drop at a rate of 1 in 8,000. And this is dropped by all high-level dragons, so it's obvious that it would be on the Rune Dragon's drop table as well. Some other drops on their table that you'll want to keep an eye out for are the Dragon Plate Legs, Plate Skirts, Wrath Runes, noted Dragon Stones, Dragon Javelin Heads, Dragon Bolts unfinished, and they do drop a plethora of rune items: rune maces, scimitars, longswords, warhammers, plate bodies, and plate legs. And the best part about the Rune Dragons is that they drop 1 Dragon Bone and 1 Runite bar per kill, which guarantees you about 15,000 GP per kill. Alright, so moving on to the gear setup, I will be going with a Helm of Nitznot, a Fire Cape, which can also be swapped out for an Arty Cape 3 or 4 for the extra stab bonus, an Amulet of Torture, an Unholy Blessing, AsukaYenOSRS and Dragon Defender, Bando's Chestplate and Tassets, Barrow's Gloves, Insulated Boots, and a Treasonous Ring Eye. Now the reason you need the insulated boots is because the Rune Dragons do have a special attack where they cast out electricity, which runs across the ground and approaches your character. If you are not wearing the insulated boots, you will take a ton of damage for this, as it does hit 3, 4, 5 times. If you're wearing the insulated boots, the damage will be decreased to only 1s and 2s. Some people do move out of the way of this attack, but I don't. I kind of just stand there because it doesn't really make much of a difference for the trip. In my inventory, you will see a Super Combat Potion, an Extended Super Anti-Fire Potion, 3 Prayer Potions, 19 Sharks, a Dragon Warhammer, Dig Site Pendant, and some House Teleports. I choose to go with the AsukaYenOSRS and the Defender because the dragons have very, very high defense, and it's very important to hit through that. When I was using the Dragon Fire Shield, the kills were a lot slower, and sometimes I only managed to grab 3 or 4 kills a trip. But when using the AsukaYenOSRS, Defender, Treasonous Ring Eye, when paired with the Dragon Warhammer special attack, I could see 6 or 7 kills per trip, which was very, very good compared to the Dragon Fire Shield. If you don't have a Dragon Warhammer, I suggest that you use a Bando's Godsword with this setup because any defense lowering for the Rune Dragons is better than none. And now we will jump into the loot from the Rune Dragons that I managed to grab. So throughout the 12 hours of killing Rune Dragons, I ended up killing 429 Rune Dragons, which averaged me about 35 per hour. Now I will be splitting the loot up into 2 different sections, one without rares and one with the rares included, because I did actually manage to grab a Draconic Visage, which you can see on the screen now, and I also got lucky enough to grab a pair of Dragon Limbs. We'll go ahead and do the no rares first. As for my total loot, I ended up with 15,756,986 GP in drops. As for supplies, I used a ton of stuff. Just like the Adamant Dragons, I used Super Combat Potions, Extended Super Anti-Fires, Prayer Potions, Dig Site Pendants, House Teleports, and Sharks. My total supply cost ended up being 3,375,796 GP, which brings my profit to 12,381,190 GP. Dividing this by the 12 hours gave me a GP per hour of 1,031k. Over 1 mil with no rares, that's pretty good. So now we can go ahead and add the rares into the mix. Like I said earlier, I did get a Draconic Visage and a pair of Dragon Limbs. This increased my total loot value to 33,161,754 GP. As for supplies, that cost will remain the same at 3,375,796 GP. This brings my total profit to 29,785,958 GP. Averaging this out over the 12 hours brings me to a GP per hour rate of 2,482k. 2.5 mil over the course of 12 hours, even though that is with rares, which are by no means guaranteed. I am very, very happy with that number because honestly, it can happen to anybody, even you. So as for my final thoughts on the Rune Dragons, very, very good moneymaker. This place is an awesome moneymaker if you have the patience to stay here for a while. Now they do hit quite often and they do hit quite hard, so it's not going to be a very AFK moneymaker like the Brutal Black Dragons, which is pretty much right around the same rate of GP per hour. But if you're hunting one of those Dragon Plate Body lumps, which can bring you in a nice sum of about 18 mil, then I think this is definitely a good place to camp for a while. Alright, that is going to do it for this installment of the real GP per hour for the Rune Dragons. I spent 12 hours here and made a ton of money, and I hope you liked this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Please consider leaving a thumbs up down below if you did like the video, and if you have any questions or comments, please also leave those down below as I will try to get to every single one that I possibly can. If you haven't done so yet, please tap that subscribe button on your way out. It really means a lot to me for every subscribe you guys give me. I got quite a few more NPCs on the list for the Real GP series, so keep an eye out for those. But until next time, guys, I will see y'all later. Take it easy.